This is the San Francisco 49ers report, and the Niners tonight, absolute domination of the Dallas Cowboys. The score down below me, you're seeing that correctly. Sunday Night Football, a lot of hype going into this game at Levi's in Week 5, and the San Francisco 49ers putting the beat down on Dallas. Final score, 42-10. And what I absolutely love is that the Cowboys all week were talking about the Niners. They seem to be creepily obsessed with this football team that has ended their season the last 2 years. What I loved on the other side, from San Francisco's viewpoint, just a cool confidence. Not a lot of chirping from that locker room. Dallas, they couldn't stop talking about the San Francisco 49ers. And what do the Niners do? They let their play do the talking. And from the start of this game until the end of it, San Francisco went out there and they proved to everybody in front of a national audience that they're the best team in football, the best all-around team in football. And right now, this is a full-speed train, a locomotive going down the tracks that nobody has been able to stop. The Dallas Cowboys came into this game with the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL. They had given up 10 points per game. And the 49ers here win their 15th straight regular season game. They haven't lost in the regular season going back to October 23rd. Every game this year, they have scored more than 30 points, and their biggest output on Sunday Night Football, a 42-piece against a Cowboys team that everybody was clamoring that they were the number 1 defense in the NFL. And what's funny is that Cowboys fans were acting like classic Cowboys fans. Delusional, overconfident, always thinking that this is their year, and they were reaching out to me. Chase, the Niners haven't played anybody. But I clapped back at that. I said, well, who have the Dallas Cowboys played? Week 1, New York Giants. Week 2, New York Jets. Week 3, they lose to the Arizona Cardinals. Then they come back and beat a bad New England Patriots team. You want to level up? You want to see if you can compete with some of the best teams in football? Dallas Cowboys, here is your opportunity. You fell flat on your face. And Dak Prescott looked about as mid as any middle-tier quarterback could look. And you look at the discrepancy and the changes in the team statistics between San Francisco and Dallas in this game. Not only the scoreboard, 42-10, in which the Niners, 7 points in the first quarter as they marched 75 yards right down the field to start this football game. Brock Purdy to George Kittle. Kittle, a hat trick tonight. 3 touchdowns. A week after Christian McCaffrey had 4. Then the Niners score 14 points in the second quarter, 7 in the third, and 14 in the fourth. 25 first downs for the Niners to 8 for the Dallas Cowboys. 12 passing first downs to 5 for the Cowboys. 10 rushing first downs for the Niners to 3. San Francisco, 6 of 11 on third downs. Dallas, 4 of 11. Total plays, 67-49. Total yards here. Who's the number 1 defense? Is it Dallas or is it San Francisco? 421 yards of total offense for the Niners, 197 for those frauds in Texas. Both of these teams had 13 total drives, but the Niners able to do a lot more with those drives as compared to Dallas. And here's the thing. I thought that San Francisco could have put more points on the board. You know, they go into halftime with 21 total points. If Christian McCaffrey did not fumble inside the 10, that could have been 7 more. The Niners also in that first half were driving until a couple of penalties pushed them back, and Kyle Shanahan elected to go for a punt instead of a long field goal. So that's even more points that the Niners could have put up. Dallas was undisciplined. They were penalized often in this game. 6 penalties for 60 yards. The Niners turned it over once. It was the Christian McCaffrey fumble. The Dallas Cowboys, 4 turnovers in this game. And the Niners able to dominate time of possession, 37 minutes to 22 minutes. The motto all week has been F Dallas and beat Dallas. And that's exactly what the Niners did in this game. So I want to hear from everybody. Type F Dallas in the chat. Because tonight, two teams took the field. One looked elite, like a Super Bowl contender. The other looked like an absolute fraud. Now, our post-game show, an instant reaction to this game, is sponsored by PrizePicks. $100 deposit match if you go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and you use the code CLNS. PrizePicks, daily fantasy made easy. The largest independently run daily fantasy sports app in North America. The game that you can play, it's awesome. You pick 2+ players. You choose them to go more or less on their projected stat line. If this game wasn't a blowout, I think I would have hit on my picks. I had Brandon Ayuk more than 4.5 catches. He had 4, but he was involved in the early going, especially on that first drive with 2 receptions. Brock Purdy, I was pretty confident he wasn't going to air it out more than 30.5 times, so I went less there. And then Micah Parsons, 0.75 sacks. I went more there. He had less. But that's a credit to the game plan for the Niners, which we can use as a talking point. Post-game show sponsored by PrizePicks. $100 deposit match, code CLNS. And you think about Micah Parsons. Everybody's been saying, best player on the defensive side of football. He had 4 sacks going into this game. I thought that the Niners did a great job of chipping him, hitting him, bothering him, double-teaming him, really affecting him and not letting him affect the game in every way possible. And it was a great game plan for the Niners. A nice little blend of throwing and passing. And we talked earlier about how George Kittle had those 3 touchdowns. Going into this game, he had none. He finishes 3 catches, 67 yards with those 3 tutties. Brandon Ayuk, 4 for 58. Deebo Samuel, 3 for 55. And going into this game, I also had this as a talking point. A lot of people nationally don't believe in Brock Purdy. They don't think that he's a legit quarterback. They think he's a product of the system. But I also pose this question. What if Brock Purdy goes out there and he throws 3 touchdowns and the Niners score 30+ points? Well, tonight he had some misses. He had some bad throws, but 17 of 24, 252 yards, 4 touchdowns, a rating of 144.4. It was such a blowout that Sam Darnold had to come into the game with 13 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Running it, I like what Kyle Shanahan did, giving some carries to Jordan Mason. You could tell that the Cowboys did not want Christian McCaffrey to beat them. McCaffrey still with a solid game. 19 carries, 51 yards, and a touchdown. 14 straight games with a touchdown for Run CMC. That's tied for the second longest streak in the National Football League. But we finally got to see a little bit more from Jordan Mason. 10 carries, 69 yards. Deebo, 5 for 30. Ty Davis-Price even got in the game at the end. And then to the defensive side of the ball. Fred Warner tonight was wreaking havoc everywhere. Last week, we saw him go stride for stride with Marquise Brown. Last year, in the divisional round, he was going step for step with CD Lamb. There was a deep play tonight in which Fred Warner was galloping along with Brandon Cooks. His ability to impact the game with the punch-out on the Tony Pollard play, which caused the fumble, to have a big sack of Dak Prescott, to have an interception late. He's one of the best defenders in the game. And he's going to go down as arguably the best linebacker in the history of the Niners. 8 tackles, 5 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass breakup, a quarterback hit, interception. The Niners had 3 of them. Deshaun Gibson with 1. Fred Warner with another. Oren Burks is usually a special teamer. He got in on the interception party as well. And then you look at what the Niners did outside of Fred Warner. Dre Greenlaw playing with his hair on fire, as he always does. 5 solos, 1 sack, 2 TFLs, 1 pass breakup, and a quarterback hit. The Niners as a team had 6 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, half for Eric Armstead, 1 for Kevin Givens, who played really well, a half for Nick Bosa, 1 for Greenlaw, 1 for Fred Warner. This is a Niners team that seems to be in the head of the Dallas Cowboys. And Trace, we could show the photo of the Cowboys boys on the Cowboys Report by Chat Sports. It was a look of defeat. It was a look of being distraught. It's a look of knowing that the San Francisco 49ers are the real America's team. And the San Francisco 49ers are the Dallas Cowboys' daddy. And for the second consecutive year, we saw a sad Dak Prescott walking off the field. Niners win. And it's humiliating for Dallas. They're talking all that talk all throughout this week, coming off that win against the New England Patriots, saying, we think that we can be one of the cream of the crop teams in the NFC. We want to take down the team that has ended our season the previous 2 years. Whereas the Niners, they were cool with it. Charvarius Mooney-Ward, he's like, we beat them the last 2 years, so we're good. They're the ones that have lost to us, and that's why they keep talking about us. And I imagine that Kyle Shanahan talked about that in the locker room in the lead up to this game. It's like, hey, don't give them fuel. Don't give them bulletin board material. Let's go out, let's handle our business, and let's show everybody on primetime Sunday Night Football we're the number one team in the National Football League, and that's how the Niners are looking, just because of how you combine how they're playing, how they're scoring, how they're moving offensively, and how dominant they are on the defensive side of the football. We'll round out with some donations that came in during our post-game show. Bearded Niner with the 5. This was supposed to be a real test. This game was real easy. San Francisco. Thank you for that, Bearded Niner. Rigger 49er 5. I told Cowgirl fans all week at work they are soft. I'm $1,000 richer. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Kevin Romero, a $50 super chat. Let's go Niners. Jeffrey Doney with the 2. Kittle been waiting for a breakout game. That breakout game came tonight. Black Mask with another 5. Honestly, I'm looking forward to listening to Nick Wright and Skip Bayless tomorrow. I'm so looking forward to it. How about Nick Wright saying he has more trust in Geno Smith than Brock Purdy? Who would you rather trust in a big game? Brock Purdy, who beat Geno twice last year, once with broken ribs as a rookie, or Geno Smith? We round out our post-game show with this. I asked you to type F Dallas down in the chat. Our watch party once again was fantastic, but this is the question that everybody has here. How about them Cowboys? What I do know, that's another loss for Dallas. That's 5-0 for San Francisco. Niners, one of 2 teams in the National Football League, still undefeated through 5 weeks. Cleveland Browns coming up next. And the Niners right now, ladies and gentlemen, are rolling. And you have to appreciate, you have to admire how well this football team is playing, because it feels special, it looks special, and hopefully in February, season wraps up with us saying 2023 was special.